There's been a lot of talk lately about shooting a fleeing suspect. What with the Brown case in St. Louis, the Scott case in South Carolina, there's been a lot of talk about should you shoot someone that's fleeing? Should a police officer shoot someone that's fleeing? Now, first off, I'm going to address whether you and I, as civilians, should ever shoot a fleeing suspect. Well, that's a pretty easy answer. Any attorney you speak to is going to tell you there's one thing that's really hard to explain to a jury, and that's a bullet in the back of a dead man. Now, there are times you would shoot someone in the back. I'm not going to say that you never ever shoot someone in the back. If someone is got a gun in someone's face, about to blow their head off, they're going after your kid with a knife, they're about to bash your wife's head in with a baseball bat, and if you still like her, you'd want to stop them. So there are times you would shoot someone in the back when they pose an immediate threat to someone else. Because you're responsible for your own immediate safety. If someone's attacking you, you would harm that person. And you're responsible for the immediate safety of your family. If they're trying to harm them, you would stop them from harming them. And to a lesser extent, you can take responsibility for the safety of someone else. Now, if you do choose to assume that responsibility for someone else's safety, you accept the risk that comes with it. For one, you could just be wrong. What you think is a rape scene in a park could actually just be a married couple kind of spicing things up at 2 a.m. when they thought no one was around. So you might not have the whole story what's happening, so you might not want to shoot someone in the back too quickly. But there are times when you would shoot someone in the back. But when they're running away, when they're no longer posing a threat and they're actually like, I'm out of here, I don't want any part of this, even if they were the aggressor to begin with, if they turn and flee, don't shoot them in the back. That's just going to put yourself in a bad situation. You're going to end up explaining that to a jury. But with police officers, it's a little bit different. And I'm going to tell you why it's different. Because as a police officer, they're not only responsible for their immediate safety and whoever's in their vicinity's immediate safety, they're also responsible for the potential safety of their community. They're not just responsible for the safety of people that bad guy is doing something to right now. They're responsible for the next person he sees and what he might do to them. The person that he rounds the corner and runs into, or the kids in the school that he might run into to take hostages if he escapes. They're responsible for what he does after he leaves. Now, this just doesn't mean cops can go around shooting jaywalkers because they run if the cops come up on them. The offense kind of has to be execution worthy. It has to be a violent offense. But if someone has committed something like a murder and they run after the police come, or they're in the process of committing murder and they run, that police officer can reasonably assume that guy is still dangerous. We have to stop him before he gets to somebody else. And the quickest way you can convince somebody that you're dangerous is to try to harm a cop. Now, the Brown case in St. Louis, he supposedly grabbed the gun. The Scott case in North Carolina, he grabbed the taser and shot the police officer. If those are true, and I'm not saying that it's true, and I'm not saying that it's not true, I'm not saying the way it's been handled legally is correct in either case. I'm just saying in both of those cases, if that's true, those people demonstrated that they are willing to harm a police officer. That means they are a threat. When you've decided to cross that line and say, I am going to harm a police officer or I am willing to kill a police officer, you have just shown the world that all bets are off, you'll do anything. So that police officer not only has to worry about his safety, and even if he's out of danger now because you're running away, he has to say to himself, if he was willing to harm me, what's he going to do to the person he runs around the corner and takes hostage? What's he going to do to the little kids he runs into the school and takes them hostage? How many people is he going to kill to try to get away if he has to? That officer not only has to stop the threat to him or whoever's in his immediate vicinity, he has to stop that threat before it gets to you in your vicinity. Because just because a guy like that starts to run doesn't mean the threat is ended. They are still the same person that just moments ago was willing to kill a police officer. So that means they'll be willing to kill you too. Now, trust me, I have my own problems with law enforcement. I have my own issues with the things they do. And I'm not saying that every time they shoot someone in the back, it's justified. I'm just saying that when you see it happen, don't get all up in arms immediately and say, well, that police officer's wrong. That guy was no longer a threat to them. Because they have to think about more than just the threat to themselves. It's just that sometimes when a police officer shoots an unarmed man or a fleeing suspect, they're not doing the wrong thing. Sometimes they're doing the right thing. They're doing their job. They're stopping a threat before it gets to you. You ain't even my real dad. You're a civilian, you're responsible for your own immediate safety and the immediate safety of your family. And to a lesser, God, fuck, damn it! What are you doing? What are you fucking doing? God damn it, cat. You play too fucking rough. It's a good girl. Here.